Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Thank you, Evan. Today's guest is Kent Untermann. In 1980, Kent was recruited out of the San Francisco Bay Area to play football at the University of Hawaii. He signed with the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent in 1985. However, shortly into his NFL debut, he sustained a career-ending leg injury. He turned this into an opportunity to spend time with his wife, Lori, and started a small business selling artwork on weekends at the Aloha Stadium swap meet. He realized a niche in the market and decided to go for broke. With his $5,000 signing bonus from the Dallas Cowboys, Kent started the business, which is now known as Pictures Plus. Pictures Plus is now a $14 million per year business. Kent has been recognized by the Small Business Administration as Hawaii's Small Business Exporter of the Year, was recognized in Atlanta, Georgia, with capturing 2 of 7 national awards in the framing industry, and in Decor magazine as being in the top 100 art and framing retailers in the nation. Please welcome today's guest, Kent Untermann. So Kent, let's start off with your NFL career. How long did that last?
It was about 3 days, I think. It was a pretty short career. I had was trying out with the Cowboys and was doing very well initially in training camp, and then unfortunately I pulled my hamstring real bad, and that was when Tom Landry was the coach. And so he had recommended. He said, "Hey, we like what we see." My leg was not progressing when I came back for fall camp; it was still in bad shape, and so he'd recommend I came back the next year, which I had intended to do. And unfortunately, my leg wasn't really cooperating. I just felt like it was time to move on with my life.
And do you miss the NFL today?
Oh, no. I look at those guys and just very glad I'm not butting heads with them, because they're much bigger, stronger, and faster. And decided a long time ago, I made that decision that I was never going to look back. I really enjoyed what I had in the islands at the University of Hawaii. It provided me with a lot of great memories, and it was time to move on.
So were you at the time, were you kind of depressed, or were you like, oh, it's just time to go? Did you have any feeling of, oh, this sucks at all? I mean,
well, not really. I guess one of my probably strengths is being optimistic, right? So I try to always look at the positive things in life. And there's 2 ways I could have looked. I could have looked at and said, oh, poor me. But the reality is, as I thought about it, sooner or later you're going to have to retire from playing football. Some kids play Pop Warner, some make it to high school, some are fortunate to go to college, and some are even more fortunate to play in the NFL. And in my heart, I knew that I was good enough if I was able to stay healthy, and I wasn't. So I made a conscious decision at that point, because otherwise I would have continued to try and fulfill that dream. But I really wanted to rechannel my energy into business.
Did your wife have something to do with that, or was it a personal decision?
No, it was definitely a personal decision. She supported me either way. She didn't recommend that I not continue that dream. Actually, my father, of course, wanted me to continue to play pro football. My grandmother was she was the happiest lady in the world when I told her that I was done. And my wife was very neutral, which is probably the best place for her to be.
So how did the Pictures Plus thing come about then? You came back to the islands, and then you said, I'm going to start selling things at the swap meet just on the side, or you always knew that it was going to turn into something larger?
Oh, it was definitely an evolution. There was not a lot of method to the madness. What actually happened was I came back with the intent of going back to the NFL, and I had taken some part-time jobs. A part-time job that I took was catering to the Ford Motor Company, and the folks from Ford gave me a bunch of merchandise and said, Kent, this is going to be more expensive to ship it back to Michigan than it is to just dispose of it. So they gave me the merchandise, beach towels, linens, canvas bags. I took it out to the swap meet and sold it. That's really how it all began.
So you weren't selling artwork to start?
No, that's where it was. Most of what I've done in business has been very opportunistic. So I can't tell you how to business plan. And in college, I studied art and wanted to be in the art business. I avoided the art classes because they were too subjective for me. I like mathematics, where 1 + 1 was definitely 2.
So after selling those beach towels and bags and things that were given to you, are pictures the next thing that you started with? Yeah,
it was a definite evolution. So I got all of these free goods, right, and would go out there and make $400 in a day, no cost of goods sold. And I was, 21 or 2 years old, and I thought, hey, this is terrific. This is pay dirt. But I always wanted to be in business, and I thought, as long as I'm already going to the swap meet, why don't I, have some more goods there? So I started to go to auctions and buy and sell things at auctions and was having some success with that. But the problem was, just when I got good at learning how to sell something, I would be out of it, and I'd have to look for my next opportunity. So I wanted to get something that was more consistent. And at the time, they were selling low-end art that was about $6 each, and you had to get in, you had to buy them by the container load. So that was where I kind of the starting point of getting the art business. I bought a whole container load of framed artwork.
And you got that for the $5,000?
No, actually, the $5,000 I leveraged into buying and selling things at the swap meet, which I grew to probably about $20,000. The first container load was $35,000, and at the time I had a couple of ex-football buddies, Joe Nobles and Tom McCarthy, who were my partners. And when I looked at buying a full container, that was $35,000. And so I went to friends and family members and told them I'd give them 40% return over 6 months if they would loan me the $15,000. At that point, I went to Joe and Tom and said, "Hey, this is real business now. You know, this isn't just buddy stuff." And so they decided that they didn't want to be liable for that $15,000. We bought them out for a couple $1,000s and took over from there.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.